radio show, January 26th. We got a fun show tonight. Special guest Cameron Mills will be on, former Kentucky great, two-time national champion. Everybody might know him for hitting the shot heard around the Bluegrass against Duke in the Elite Eight in 1998. I'm pretty excited for that. Danielle, you excited?
I'm always excited.
Looks like we actually have a call. We'll go ahead and take it. You're live on Bluegrass Breakdown.
Hey, who am I talking with?
Tyler Blood here. Who do I got?
Hey, this is Brother Mac, Tyler.
Brother
How's
Mac.
it going there?
Good. How you doing this week?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Great win last night by UofL. Great win by UK this past week. It's all good in Kentucky here.
Oh yeah, both fan bases should be happy this week. Two good wins. Louisville took care of business against Pittsburgh and John. Who was the other guy? I forgot already.
Villanova.
Pittsburgh and Villanova. You know?
Villanova.
Yeah, I lose track of the cards. I don't pay attention too much. You know how it is. But what's on your mind tonight, Brother Mac?
Yeah, I'm still on track right now for my predictions. Other than I missed the Pitt game. I had Louisville losing that game, but had it winning last night, and of course I've had Kentucky winning all the way out till I think at the end of the season against Florida. But I understand y'all have got Cameron Mills calling in tonight.
We do.
Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to hearing from him. You know, I was looking back on 1998 records there. You know, where Kentucky went 35-4, and what a year that was for us. The shot, he hit the shot.
Yeah, that was. I actually have this picture of that shot downstairs in my UK man cave. It's all beautiful and decked out, full of Kentucky. It's autographed. I got back when I was 8 or 9 years old, and yeah, that was a big time shot. It's probably got to be one of his best memories. I'm sure. We'll find out that in the second segment.
Yeah, and he was a walk-on. So that was.
What's that?
He was a walk. John said that he was a walk-on. He actually had a full scholarship offer from Georgia, but decided he was a Kentucky fan growing up in
His
Lexington.
dad went to Kentucky?
Yeah, Terry Mills went to Lexington in the late 60s, early 70s, so he wanted to play at UK regardless.
Yeah. I'd say that was probably one of his best shots he ever hit for Kentucky, and his best game had to be against Florida that same year in February 1st, 98.
Yeah.
He scored 31 points in that game. He hit 8 of 14 three-pointers. He went 3 for 3 at the free throw line. He went 10 for 19 from the field.
Yeah, and I think Kentucky still lost that game, if I'm not mistaken.
They lost that game. They had Weeks on Florida and Williams both scored 24 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
They killed Kentucky. But
obviously, Brother Mac, it didn't matter in the long run.
That game that we lost or that we won against Duke, we were down by 10 at half to come back and win by 2. We were a 3 seed and they were a 2 seed. But one of the commentaries was Jim Nance, and I looked back on the video on that, and Jim said, "Yeah, that was his first shot of the tournament." Well, Jim Nance was wrong. The first shot he made was 2 games prior at St. Louis. He hit 2 free throws, so he did score prior to that game. But
now,
I'm really interested in. Go ahead.
They were actually down 17 points with 9 minutes to go. I know you said they were down 10 at halftime, but 17 with 9 to go in the NCAA tournament is pretty crazy.
Oh yeah. That team for Kentucky, we went 8 or 9 deep. We had Shepard, Muhammad, Padgett, Turner, Edwards, Evans, McGlure, Mills, and there was no real standout if you look at their points per game. I mean, they all averaged 10 or 11 or 9, but they just played good as a team,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, Brother Mac. It kind of reminds me of kind of like this year's team. You don't have you got a couple guys name-wise standouts, but there are 6 guys close to 10 points per game, if not there. So I wouldn't compare them to them, but it's kind of got the same feel. Brother Mac, I really appreciate the call.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Yeah, call anytime, man.
Good, we'll call.
Always good to hear from Brother Mac.
Yeah, if anybody else wants to give us a shout, give us a call, 265-5211. Of course, we got my man John Hancock here. Glad to have you back this week. We got Daniel Chilton over there in the Breakdown Lounge. How are you all doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling good. I'm glad I didn't do last week's show. I'll be honest. I kind of.
That's why I didn't come last week.
Were you depressed?
I wasn't depressed. I was just, Ryan can handle that.
You were in a dark place.
I wasn't. I wasn't doing very well.
All right, that's fine.
Danielle, are you doing good this week?
I am dandy as usual.
Are you alone in the Breakdown Lounge for a second straight week?
I know. I don't know why anybody wants to hang out with me. Like, nobody wants to hang out.
We've been trying to get some guests for her, some friends. We tell her Danielle's over there and nobody wants to come.
Yeah.
We try to get Mark Blankenbreaker from thecardscats.com.
We should sell that seat. Like, for
I thought Mark and I were friends, too.
$100. If you want to sit there next week, $100. Contact Matt McCarthy.
They're going to call in.
That makes me feel really sad. You can't
They're actually going to call in and tell you to pay them $100 to sit there. They're not going to pay $100.
$100.
No, you pay us $100. I'm really fun to sit by.
I bet you Matt Jones will pay $100.
I bet you. I know a guy that pay $100. Oh wow. Anyways, that's another show, another time. Maybe a summer show, as Matt Jones likes to say. We'll get right into it. We got again Cameron Mills. He's going to come up in the second segment here in about 15 minutes. So make sure to stay with us for that. But Derek Willis, Bullet East forward, junior, committed to UK last week. Chose us over Purdue in Indiana.
And Louisville.
He dropped Louisville.
Well, he did drop Louisville, but he did choose them. I guess he dropped them like 2 weeks before he committed.
Yeah, something. Anyways, good pickup for Kentucky. It's Kentucky. It's the state of Kentucky's best player for the class of 2013. I've heard a lot on both halves of the fan bases, not just Kentucky and Louisville.
I've heard a lot of Kentucky fans are not happy with this pickup.
It's one of those guys on Louisville fans aren't too mad they didn't get, and those guys at Kentucky, it's like, hey, I guess they're just getting spoiled for all these 5 stars. In my own mind, I'm glad he came to UK. I will never say I don't want a player to come to Kentucky if Calipari recruited him, because I believe in Calipari, anything he does. I will say he's not the most talented compared to what Calipari brings in, but he's a 4-year player. He's got size. He might grow a little more. He's going to develop. So good pickup, and it's the state battle against Rick Pitino. You won that.
And I mean, he's a junior this year. He's got a lot of athleticism. He can shoot. For a big guy, Calipari will have him gain some weight, and he'll be ready to play, I'm sure, by.
Do you think it's mostly a political pick? I mean, number one, stealing him from Louisville, which is good. Number two, there's a large amount of the fan base who wants him to recruit more out of Kentucky, who wants that nice boy from Kentucky in the thing. Do you think it's more political than it actually is? Derek Willis is a great player.
I don't.
Not this one.
I mean, Indiana wanted him, and Indiana.
Purdue had him.
Crean can recruit. So if he's going after somebody, if he wants somebody, it's same with There's a lot of other people that want him, but he didn't want to go that far away from home.
If you want to go political, I'd go Elijah Justice or maybe Josh Carrier. In those standpoints, Josh Carrier, granted Tubby brought him in thinking he was going to be a sharpshooting J.J. Redick type player, but that was a long way away from that. But I would not say he's political. He is the best player in the state of Kentucky. Kentucky's got some good players in the next couple of years. Actually, I think the junior Mr. Basketball from New York transferred to Hazard, plays at Perry Central. He's a beast. He's only a junior. He could turn out being one of the best around. So you never know. So it's a good pickup for Kentucky.
I would hope that it's not a political. Yeah, I don't think Calipari and Pitino play that.
In the long run, not getting Willis.
I don't think it hurts Louisville.
It doesn't hurt Louisville not getting Derek Willis as the player.
I think it's early.
Well, Derek Willis didn't play in any local AAU teams. He's at Bullet East, which Louisville fans sometimes we don't really count that as local. We try not to, but I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think there's some other ones that if we don't get later on down the road, it'll be a little disappointing. But I don't think Derek Willis is that big a deal.
Moving on, though, good pickup for Calipari and staff. Congrats to Derek Willis for becoming a Kentucky Wildcat. Good choice, son. Louisville on their half. Just get a little quick football hit on them. We'll get to the basketball. We're going to nail basketball in the third segment since we don't have much time. They got a commitment, John?
Yeah, from Sheldon Rankins. Kid's a beast.
I saw that.
He runs a 4.58, 6'3", 258 pounds. Just solid. I mean, he's a 3-star, but once again, you're playing down there in Georgia.
Defensive end from Georgia. You got to be right. I mean, if you're ranked top 50 defensive end in the nation, you're a decent football player, and you should be glad it's a good pickup. Cards.
If you have 5 minutes, go on YouTube, look up his highlights are awesome. I mean, to the point where he intercepted a ball I think he ran it like 75 yards just past everybody.
Did he look like the guy from the Patriots, rumbling, stumbling, and tumbling into the end zone?
No, he looked like he was a tight end running a route.
That's always good.
Yeah, I mean the kid is impressive.
Little Jason.
He's impressive. I would think that he would be more than a 3-star personally, but you know, you never football rankings. They're kind of meaningless, really. I mean,
not on our paper here, but since you brought rankings, it kind of brought up the Scout, or I believe the Scout. They released new rankings. A couple guys for UK and UofL, you know, both moving up.
Quentin Snyder is now the 9th best point guard in 2000. I think that he'll probably go up more. Is kind of what the talk is, that he'll go up more. But right now he's the 9th best point guard. He needs to put on some weight is really the issue. I think he's 160 pounds. But he's a sophomore, so I think but he can shoot. I think he averages 20-something points a game or something like that. So
I think I saw him drop like 30-plus the other night. He's always getting over that range, so he's obviously
I mean, for a sophomore, that's impressive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he's got really long arms. He'll probably grow some more. Looks like he has a lot of, you know, kind of like Derek Willis. You're expecting more in the next couple of years.
And same for UK, you know, expecting more out of maybe one of their already committed recruits, Archie Goodwin. Their doctor said something about him possibly growing up to about 6'8". I know he's 6'4" now. That'd be another 4 inches over the next, year is it, Danielle, I guess? About a year. That would, in my mind, that would be amazing. UK's got some smaller guys coming back, possibly Marcus Teagues. You know, you never know with Lamb. Yeah. A 6'8" small forward, along with Poitras, Danielle. You like that?
It would be insane.
A scoring.
I mean, there's a 2012 class can go either way for UK. It could either be, depending upon who ends up committing and who ends up doing what, it could be kind of skim. It could be, you know, I mean, it's going to be better than 95% of schools by any means, but it's, you know, for what UK is used to, not necessarily number one. Or depending upon how it works out and who comes back, and, you know, say if they get Shabazz, it could be unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, especially with what they've
Shabazz, you know, I think he had a good game the other night. I saw on the stat line. And,
when doesn't he?
Yeah, and part of the rankings, which, you know, we were talking about the 2013 guys, a couple guys on UK's list. Jabari Parker, he's now the number 1 player 2013. Nerlens Noel is number 2. Julius Randle's number 3. Andrew Harrison's number 4. Aaron Harrison's 6. Chris Walker, 7. You got 6 guys on there that's highly on UK's list. Derek Willis is the 31st. I just saw that.
Yeah, he moved. I think he was the 21st and moved to 31st.
Which is fine.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. That's what happens.
He has struggled this year scoring wise. He hasn't been as dominant as people thought he would be.
If you want to give us a call, 265-5211. You know, we have Cameron Mills coming on here in about 5 minutes or so. It's going to be a fun segment. And before we get to that, UofL is a guy trying to maybe steal a guy out of Lexington, Trey Gundy.
Trey Gundy. He's also on UK's list. He's visited a lot of different schools. He has a teammate, can't think of the name right now, but who also played on Louisville Magic with him. You know, but he's right now. He said that Louisville's the most on him, recruiting wise. He really likes their style and everything. Kid's long, 6'6", 180 pounds.
That's ranked small forward for his class.
I mean, but he's a 2014. So I mean, right now you
never know.
You never know. I mean, for a sophomore, you just don't know what's going to happen to a sophomore. I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen to Quentin Snyder. You know, he could grow, 5 inches. He could be like, I doubt it, but he could grow 10 inches.
You never know. He could pull an Anthony Davis. You never know. We will go ahead and get to a break here. Remind you all, Cameron Mills coming up after the quick little break. We're going to get him on the line and, of course, talk all things Kentucky, talk about a little bit of his past, maybe his game-winning, or not game-winning, the shot against Duke. We'll be right back. Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. We're here. John Hancock here, Tyler Bloyd to my right, best producer in the world, Matt McCarthy. And we have Danielle Chilton over there. We also have UK great Cameron Mills. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine, guys. And you all?
Doing well, doing well.
Doing pretty good tonight, Cameron. How are you doing?
Good. Doing great. I'm actually down in North Carolina getting ready to pick up a brand new puppy tomorrow morning.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So yeah.
I think you just about gave
Getting ready to have a
Danielle.
new-
You just
getting
about
ready to
gave
have a new
Danielle a
addition
heart
to the
attack.
family.
Oh, what kind of puppy is it? What kind of puppy is it?
Wait a minute, you all didn't say there was a female.
Oh, I
on this.
forgot. Yeah, sorry,
always
Cameron.
forget.
Danielle,
They
but
want
when
to
you
forget
all
me,
did
is
your
what it is.
introductions earlier, I just John and Tyler. There wasn't a Danielle. There wasn't a.
Sometimes she doesn't talk, Cameron, so I apologize.
It's Danielle.
Sometimes I get
It's a
flustered.
golden retriever. I've had goldens my whole life, and had to put my golden of 13 years down. He was my first. I want to say my 22nd, 23rd birthday present from my parents, and I had to put him down a couple months ago, and wasn't sure how long it would take for me to be ready for another one, and it turns out about a month or so. And so I started doing some research and found a really great breeder down here just outside of Charlotte.
Yeah, I would totally agree with golden retrievers are the best. I had
Cannot
one
go wrong.
my whole childhood. Named it Jordan after Michael Jordan back in the day.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was one of the best
That's
dogs
fun.
ever. I will agree with that one.
Yeah. Well,
No, I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to meeting him tomorrow. I've just seen pictures of him and not spent any time with him, so we pick him up tomorrow. So I'm excited.
Well, excellent, excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and ask you, what do you think about this year's UK team? What's impressed you?
That's a seamless transition there, John, from puppies to UK basketball.
I apologize. I do my best.
You know, well, yeah, I didn't give you much choice, did I? You know what? Look, they're the number one ranked team in the country. I think there's two things that concern me, though. Watching this team play, I guess two big things. Number one, if you go back and watch the Indiana game, we are a different team when Anthony Davis goes out with foul trouble. The only player that acted like or looked like he was still in the game and ready to play was Kid Gilchrist, who, Kid Gilchrist has probably been the most consistent player we've had all year. I think he maybe has only had one kind of game where, he just didn't have it. And, throughout the course of the season, your best players are going to have 2 or 3 games like that. So, but when Anthony Davis went out in that Indiana game, we looked like we didn't know what we were doing. All of a sudden, the lane was not clogged up anymore. We didn't have that shot blocking presence. And so we looked like we just weren't ready to play for that span while he was out. He comes back in, we're able to make our run and make a game of it until that last second shot by Indiana. The other thing, and it kind of goes hand in hand with that, is we're just not very deep. You start getting into our 6, really our 6, because we've got really 6 starters. Any one of them can rotate in and start a game. But when you get to 7 and 8, you're talking about Eloy Vargas, you're talking about Wilcher, and neither one of those guys has stepped up. Now, I have to remind myself constantly that Wilcher is a freshman. Vargas is, I believe, a sophomore. This is a different college basketball than I was a part of. I had, I had 4 years to become the best player I could, and it took 4 years, I had 2.5, let's say, for me to get to the point where I was ready to compete in a Division I college basketball game, where I was ready to go in and not, make a fool of myself. We're asking these guys to do it immediately. And, it is what it is. It's the way it is right now. It's not fair, but you know what? They've got to come in and be ready to play. But I think those are my 2 concerns, that Anthony Davis can't get in foul trouble when you can in the game, just to clog up that middle and be the great shot blocker he is. And, we just don't go very deep. We go about 6 deep, and that's about it right now.
Yeah, I will totally agree with you on the Davis, what you were saying about him in the Indiana game. And I look at the Louisville game as well. He went out, I believe, at the end of the first half, and Kentucky was up 13 or 14, and that's when Louisville cut it to, 1-possession game. So I will say that he has got to be, in my mind, the most, I'd say he affects the game better than anybody in the country.
Yeah, and I think that's the right way to put it. He affects the game. Kid Gilchrist comes in and can do everything. He can score. He can rebound. As a matter of fact, if you go back and watch the Indiana game, if it wasn't for Kid Gilchrist just tearing up the boards in that stretch when Davis was out, then we lose that game by 10 or 12. But Davis affects the game, and I think that's exactly the right way to put it. Because even if he doesn't block your shot, he's going to alter your shot. And if he doesn't alter your shot, he's back there. When you turn around in that lane, you're going to be staring at a hand that maybe you get it off over him, but you've got to at least be thinking about how you're going to do it, and just that split second of a thought can affect your shot sometimes.
Now, and what you're saying, you played from '94 to '98. You got those. It's like you said, 2.5, 3 years of to get you game ready, to get you ready for this college game. And these guys are coming in straight out of high school and playing. We had Derek Anderson on 2 weeks ago, and we asked him a question about, little comparison, and he said that these guys would be a, second, third stringers for you all when you 96, 97, 98 team. Just because of the aspect of they.
I will tell you this. I will defer to Derek on that one, because I'll tell you the one thing I've learned about myself is I am not a great evaluator of talent. I think the hardest things that college coaches do, whether it's basketball, football, anything, is look at a high school kid and say, yeah, he can make it on the next level. The guys in the NBA that have to deal with this draft every year. The hardest thing I think they have to do is, this kid can play at the next level. I don't know how they do it, because the only one in the last 20, 30 years that I've been right about, that I just knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, this kid, of course I say kid, he was older than me at the time, is going to make it, is the guy named Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, I just don't think there was any doubt that he was going to be a pro player. But everyone else, I just look at him and I just don't know. So if Derek says that these guys would be third stringers on our team, then that's fine. That means they would have been on the bench with me. So you know what? It'd be nice to spend time with.
Yeah. Hey, you had a fun bench there. I mean, not that you didn't anyways, but again, we have Cameron Mills on.
We had Muhammad Ali on our bench during one game. So really? we did have a fun bench.
What game? Do you remember what game that was?
You know what? I don't. I just remember at one point in the game, Geoff Shepard getting cold-cocked by an elbow and kind of getting a little bit of a black eye, and he immediately went over and sat down beside Muhammad Ali. And you just kind of got this funny picture of the two of them talking about, I've been hit in the face before.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, this does kind of bring it up. Did you dunk on Geoff Shepard? I saw your little Twitter conversation with Derek Anderson.
I did, actually. Yeah. Oh, did you not follow that?
I've been following it since last night. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Geoff hates it when I bring this up, because look, it was the only time it ever happened in my 4 years at UK. It was at the Seton Center during one of our pickup games in the summer. We've got during off season we were still on campus taking classes during 8 week. Some of us took 4 week classes in May, and we would play. And the reason we were taking classes, other than to stay ahead or to catch up for some of us academically, is we were there on campus and we got to play. It's one of the things that's so difficult right now for us. And guys, remind me to get back to the story, because I definitely want to tell that story. But these guys now, they don't ever get to play a lot together. The way Coach Cal recruits, and look, I'm not complaining about the way he recruits. I love it. But the way he recruits is, these guys are one and done, and everybody knows that, and everyone knows that's the way Coach Calipari is. He gets the best talent in the country. They come in, they're in for a year, and they're gone. Well, it is tough to form camaraderie and to become a true team. The guys that I played with, I was with them at Wildcat Lodge and in the training room and in practice and on the planes, for 2 years, 3 years. And every summer we play pickup games, and we play every night. Well, I say every night, 5 nights a week. We take off on the weekend, but 4 or 5 nights a week we would play, 7, 8, 9 pickup games. And the last one would always be the longest, because we knew it had to do with our conditioning. But, so anyway, back to the story. We're at the Seton Center. I think it was right before my senior year, Jeff's senior year, because he had redshirted that year. So he was coming back to playing again. And there was one goal, and I think there was a cheerleading camp or something going on one part of Seton Center. So we were relegated to this one court. But the goal on this one side was 2 inches low. Instead of 10 foot, it was 9 foot 10. And we're coming down to the last game points coming up. And I can't imagine I stole the ball, but either way, I wound up on a fast break, just me and Geoff. Geoff was the defender coming down the other side of the lane. I was coming down the right-hand side. And, when you see someone who's got the hops that Shep has, you see them get ready to start timing their steps. And I saw Geoff start timing his steps to go up and pitch my layup, because you knew it was coming and I knew it was coming. And so I went up as hard as I could, and just at the last minute, just stuffed it down as quickly as I could. It wound up being the point that won us the game. And I think I just to play a little theater, I don't even think I reacted. I think I dunked it. I walked off the court that won us the game. But I have never let Shep forget about that moment.
Oh yeah, I had to bring that up. I know you probably want to explain everything.
If you guys followed on Twitter last night, I had to justify and prove to people that it actually happened.
Oh yeah, I was watching the whole conversation.
And no one believes it happened. Listen, I understand why they don't believe it happened. I'm telling you, it happened.
It's kind of like
one time it was.
It's kind of like LeBron getting dunked on. You know, it happened, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's right. That video of that during that summer league game.
Joe Crawford's
brother.
That's
right. But it did happen.
It did happen. Now, you said about, you know, Cal Poly's getting all these one and done guys. Obviously, Terrence Jones and Doran Lamb both stayed. Do you see anybody from this year's, you know, freshman class sticking around? You know, Marcus Teague, the way he's been playing, he's playing good as of late. I have no problems with it. Could he stay? Could maybe Gilchrist stay in just because he loves basketball?
Well, look, I think any of them could stay because they love basketball. But I think at this point, and I know, there are a lot of people that don't like the idea of the one and done player. I don't like it just because I want these guys to stick around. You know, you get this talent sticking around for 2 or 3 years, and you know, you're hanging banners every year, if not every other year. But what I understand is these guys aren't coming to Kentucky. You know, as much as we want them to be coming to Kentucky for an education, that's not why they're coming. They're coming for their career, and their career involves basketball. And they're going to make a lot of money if they, you know, keep their nose clean while they're in college, while they're in high school, do the things their coaches tell them, improve where they need to improve. You know what? Even if it only takes a year because they're so talented, they're going to make a lot of money in the NBA. And ultimately, that's what we want for them. We want them to come here, you know what, and ultimately live out their dreams by playing basketball at Kentucky and getting in the NBA. So I don't know from this squad who could stay. I think Anthony Davis could stay. I don't think he will because I think right now I think he's being seen as the number 1 overall draft pick. But you know what? You just never know. Sometimes you get a kid that says, you know what, my education is the most important thing. I want to get my degree. We haven't had one of those yet since Cal's been here. But you know what? We could, and that'll make a big difference.
I'm just happy to have him for a year. It's fine with me.
So Cameron,
listen, when you get these guys for a year and you're ranked number 1 coming in, a couple of times during the season, and you got a chance to go to Final Four, and you got a chance to win the national championship every year. That's ultimately what UK fans want. They want to hang banners. They want national championships. So if this talent lets us do that, then great. That's what we want.
And that's exactly why you chose Kentucky instead of Georgia.
Well, among many things, yeah. But yeah, that was, you know what, that was when I got asked, Georgia was putting pressure on me my senior year, right before my senior basketball season in high school. They wanted me to sign with them, a full ride, you know, SEC, high Division I scholarship. And, but I grew up in Kentucky, and when you grow up in Kentucky, there aren't any other basketball teams. There just isn't. And if you can play at Kentucky, even if you're not guaranteed anything, and none of these guys are guaranteed anything, you know, why wouldn't you want to play at the highest level? And that's really what happened to me. I wanted to play at the highest level. I wanted to live out my dream, playing at the same school my dad played, wearing the same number my dad wore, practicing on the court when my dad played his games. And then the last part of it, I wasn't dumb. I looked at what Coach Pitino was doing in his first 3 years at the UK. He already got us to a Final Four. He was bringing in the best talent in the country. And you just knew, kind of like almost exactly the way it is right now. You just know before long, we're going to have a team that clicks. Maybe it's this year, and we win a national championship. And I wanted to be a part of that national championship. And it turns out I was able to be a part of 2 of it.
Yeah, Cameron, you did, you know, Pitino recruiting and everything. You know, Tyler over here, he thinks that Pitino's washed up.
No, I don't. I love Pitino. I just don't like Louisville.
He thinks that, he just thinks that his style of basketball can't work now. What do you think? What do you think of what Pitino's doing at Louisville now? Do you think that, you know, that kind of style doesn't work anymore?
I don't know why it wouldn't. You know, and I don't. But I'll be honest. I don't know. You know, how do you define his style against what Coach Cal plays? I mean, look, Coach Pitino's not playing up and down 40 minutes, press for 40 minutes. You know, it's not the days of the Pitino Bambinos that it was in the early 90s. But you know, the thing that started the Twitter back and forth last night with BA between he and I was that I was watching Louisville and Villanova play, and there was a couple of close-ups of Coach Pitino talking to his players, and I just kind of, you know, had this moment where I thought back to the many times when I'd say he talked to me. The truth of the matter is he yelled at me, but anyway, but he coached me, and you know, I just thought back, and the thing that I thought was I love watching him coach because he doesn't miss a thing, and I cannot describe to you all the practices that we had where he would watch a simple down screen, pop, you know, throw the ball to the wing, go away screen. I mean, just basic basketball. He would watch that, and he would find in that one simple play, 3 passes, he'd blow the whistle, he'd find 15 things that the offense did wrong, 15 things that the defense did wrong, and be able to communicate it to us in about 15 seconds. and he just doesn't miss anything. He watches the game like no one I've ever been around, and I think that's what you have to have. So whether it's the right style or not, I don't think there's one style that works in, one particular part of, the history of college basketball. I think everybody right now, they use the 3-point line. I think the teams can press and wear you down for 40 minutes, and that's what the press is designed to do. It's not designed to get turnovers in the first 10 minutes of the game. It's designed to get turnovers the last 5 minutes of the game. If you can do that and win games, then I think you're gonna, you'll be successful no matter what era it's in.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. And speaking of the 3-point line, you hit a big shot against Duke in 1998. Everybody already knows. It took the lead 80-79. You guys were down 17 points with 9 minutes to go. I mean, how did you feel after that hit the bottom of the net?
Well, I tell you, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually watched a little, I guess, a highlight reel today on YouTube that someone's posted of probably the last, it's sliced up and the commercials are cut out and all that stuff. But it's probably the last 5 minutes of the game, and it starts with my three. But the thing that I realized today, and I knew this back then, and I guess you just forget about it, because anytime anyone wants to talk to me about that game, it's always about, the shot I hit against Duke. But I'll tell you, the thing is, and I've said this before, if Wayne Turner doesn't just take over in that second half, and I mean take over. I mean, they could not, it didn't matter if Wojciechowski was guarding, it didn't matter if William Avery was guarding, it didn't matter who was guarding. Wayne was getting to the bucket and getting shots off, and Hasheem Evans hit a couple big threes, but Wayne just took over in that game. And so, you know what? I finally hit the first shot I hit in the tournament. It happened to be a three, and it happened to give us the lead for the first time in the game. But if Wayne doesn't just absolutely take over that game, then you know what? There's no way we make that comeback.
Now, did you say that was your first shot you hit at the tournament?
That was the first shot in the '97 tournament. I was shooting 63% from the 3-point line. I was the second leading scorer. Now, Wayne Turner disputes this. He says he was the second leading scorer on the team during the tournament. I think it was me behind Ron Mercer. But either way, I was either second or third. And so, I just kind of, all of a sudden, as much as I could, exploded offensively. Well, in '98, I was struggling in the tournament. Even that whole season, I wasn't shooting as well as I had in '97. A lot of that had to do with me kind of resting on my laurels during that summer break in between junior and senior year, and not continuing to work and get better like Alan Edwards and Geoff Shepard did, my fellow seniors. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the way it happened.
Yeah, the reason I asked you that, we had one of our regular callers, Brother Mac. He thought you hit a shot against, I believe, St. Louis earlier in the tournament, but I guess he was a little wrong on that one.
No, I did not. No, the first shot I hit in that tournament was that shot. As a matter of fact, if you go back and watch the video, I think it's Billy Packer says it's his first shot. They've been waiting on it. I think it's quoted, they've been waiting on it. Cameron Mills is his first shot of the tournament.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that was the first one. I had, we as a team had played great all the way through that tournament, and everybody was scoring but me. And so I finally hit that three, and that kind of, for me it was a relief just because I finally hit one, and then a split second later you kind of realize the gravity of the moment when you think that, well, that just capped a big 17-point comeback.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Cameron, a lot of people want to know maybe what you're doing now, what's going on in your life, past basketball.
Well, I started my ministry the year I was done playing ball. So June 3rd of 1998, I started speaking under the auspices of Cameron Mills Ministries. I'd been speaking before that. I gave my life to Jesus Christ when I was 7 years old. When I was 12 years old, I knew I wanted to be in ministry because, with the exception of my parents and Christ, there were two youth pastors who impacted my life in an amazing way. And I knew when I was 12 years old, I wanted to have the same impact on other kids' lives. And so I always thought I'd be a youth pastor, but then I got to UK and I was open about my faith, and I started getting invitations to speak at a Sunday school class or a youth rally or this, that, and the other. And the more I did it, the more I loved doing it, and the more I get asked to do it. And so I just eventually kind of realized at some point during my career that why don't you just do this? Why don't you just continue to speak? And I had some very wise people around me that got me incorporated, got me a board of directors for some accountability and some coverage, and started speaking June 3rd, 1998, and now it's January 2012, 13 years later, and I'm still speaking. I just got back from Kansas last week, speaking at a big FCA basketball tournament called the Tournament of Champions out in Dodge City, Kansas. We'll be going back to Kansas here in a couple weeks. When March rolls around, actually Final Four weekend, I think I'm going to be back in Kansas speaking. I speak at churches, youth groups, pretty much, wherever I'm asked to go. I will, just about always go. As long as I can share Jesus Christ.
Will you be around? We're obviously located in Louisville. Will you be, in Louisville anytime soon? Or
you know what? I don't know. My schedule. I've got a website called CMM Cameron Mills Ministry, CMM21.com. So www.cmm21.com, and my schedule's posted there. My speaking schedule. I'm not sure. I've got an assistant that kind of makes sure I get to where I need to go. So I hardly ever look ahead. She sends me emails saying, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" I'll say yes, and it'll go on my schedule, and I won't think about it until a couple of days before I go speak. So I would say I'll be in Louisville before too long. I just don't know if there's anything on the calendar right now.
Well, that sounds good. Well, Cameron, we really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
It's been a great interview. We'll do it again down the road for sure, and maybe UK wins the championship and get you on and talk about that.
Sounds good. Anytime you want me, I'd be happy to.
All right. You have a good night, Cameron.
Thank you, Cameron.
Thanks.
All right, guys. You too.
Well, another excellent interview at the Bluegrass Breakdown.
We
Kill it
every time.
Great. Thanks, Cameron Mills. Danielle, of course, didn't speak again.
She asked about the puppies.
I did.
We want you. You sit in the lounge for a reason, Danielle. You have a microphone to say something occasionally. He was excited to see there was a female in the building.
I
Cameron,
know. I wasn't
that
even,
was my fault.
I
That was my
wasn't
fault. I
feeling very
didn't.
welcome because I wasn't even introduced
That
by
would be
Mr.
the
Soulpatch there.
co-host. The co-host. I got you at the beginning of the show.
Well, you got me, but not to him.
I
I
know.
didn't want to intrude.
I know.
But
It's okay.
if you mention a puppy, I gotta say something.
You got to at least the puppy.
I gotta say something.
Anyways,
Sucker.
we'll be back. We're gonna hit in the final 20 minutes. Obviously, all the UK UofL what's happened in the past week. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Bluegrass Breakdown, where Matt really liked that song. A little extended break there. You couldn't get off. I think we got a birthday video coming up, Matt. Do we have any kind of video for Wayne Gretzky? No, well, if Matt pulls it up, we do have a quick little highlight of Wayne Gretzky. It's his birthday. He was born in 1961, the old Southpaw, the greatest hockey player ever, without a doubt, number 99.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Not that
I'm looking at Danielle. I'm looking at John,
Hockey.
and they have no idea about hockey.
I know who Wayne Gretzky is.
I know you know who Wayne Gretzky is. You have no idea hockey.
I know a lot about hockey.
I know
like
that
Wayne
you-
Gretzky. I was more of a Mario
Take a
fan
pup.
back then.
I agree. I
was
like
a great
Mario.
Penguins. Jaromir Jagr. I was a fan of the Penguins.
Yammer. The Penguins.
Yeah.
I like the Penguins. Too.
Wayne was just he was
He was a
I
beast.
don't know.
He had
He
61
was alright.
61 NHL records as of today. That's absurd.
I have like 63 in my sleep.
You have none. But
You
yeah,
don't
he's
know that.
inducted to Hall of
know
Fame. So happy birthday to him, Matt. Don't worry about the video. We're past the video. I guess you can play it and people can watch it while we talk. They don't need to look at us anyways. Let's hit something. Quick little news. Louisville had a good week, John.
They did.
Two wins against two
great teams.
big name teams
Oh,
that are
yeah.
at the bottom of their. They're struggling, but
Big East.
regardless, this is a good road win at Pitt
Yeah.
and a good home win against Villanova. John?
It's what I mean. At the same time, yes, they weren't the best Big East teams, but at the same time, you're seeing progress. You're seeing, I think, Coach Pitino adapt to what he has.
Kyle Kirk looked healthy.
Kyle Kirk, Pittsburgh he had an ankle injury. He actually left the game a
21
little bit.
points.
Just blew up. Had a Syracuse night and just started shooting everywhere from threes. That's what we need. That's what last year's team did. We weren't expected to do much. We didn't have. But at the same, we started coming together as a team.
You kind of
and
looked
had
like
fun.
last year's team against Pitt. You all shot 55%.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I see the past couple games that reminds me of last year's team. Just making the shots. You never know who's going to make. Last night, Swapshire made the shot.
I will say that you all already had it locked up before Swap hit the three.
Yeah, no, but
Everybody, I saw one of your fans compare it to one of your guys who hit a shot in the lead 8. Come on, guys.
I think they were just excited that Swapshire
It was a good shot because Swap hit the three.
Anytime
Exactly.
Swapshire scores,
He scored.
we get excited.
Yeah, I agree. Would
Low stakes.
U of L beat Villanova with Malik Wayne's the full game? He was, foul trouble was I haven't watched him play in a year.
Yeah, but some of those fouls that he had though were because he was frustrated.
We don't need to talk fouls on any standpoint of any game really in college basketball. Refs are horrible.
Do I think that we could have won the game? Yeah.
I think you would have won. I'm saying what I was saying is how good of a shooter is he? You saw him come in from the Final Five and freak. He got him right back.
But that's why I think he's the second leading scorer in the Big East.
Mm-hmm.
And he can just score. That's what he does. He comes in and he scores. But obviously, Villanova's lacking in some other areas. They put it all on his shoulders, and if he gets fouled out, then you're gonna lose the game.
Yeah, but regardless of how those teams are playing, it's 2 good wins for Louisville. They needed it after last week. Gorgie Zhang had 2 good games. Bohannon had played well both games. Everybody played well.
Bohannon played amazingly last night.
Well, it was because of the text messages.
I'm sure it was.
Exactly what it was.
He had a great, Rick Pitino's a motivator. He uses text.
They're all hanging,
I actually thought it was pretty
I'm
good.
glad that, your team's finally hanging out outside the court.
No, I think all the players were talking about that. It's just.
I mean, it's kind of comes to surprise me that shouldn't y'all been hanging out before the season started, maybe outside the court?
Well, before it seemed like, apparently,
some drama.
Some
Terrence Jennings, Jerry Smith drama?
No, I think it was. I don't think it was that type of drama. But I think it was just, the older group would hang out with each other and the younger group would hang out with each other, and they were apart.
I hear you.
Which is unfortunate because, and maybe that's what's hurting us in recruiting. Maybe our basketball players don't.
I think it's C.L. Brown hurting you all recruiting.
But I think
exactly.
But I think Shane seemed to say that the team's together now and that they're hanging out together more and they're going to the mall together, things like that, which they didn't do before.
Hold hands, doing the good things.
Rick Pitino,
it's good.
Sharing milkshakes with the same straw.
We make fun of them, but it's good. They should have been doing this. I'm sure they were.
I'm just glad they're doing it now compared to. Before.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing. So a good week for Louisville, and they have only one game before our next show next Thursday. It's against Seton Hall. At Seton Hall, it's definitely no pushover.
No. And they play really well at home. That's the thing, But we seem to be playing. We seem to play better on the road.
They've came back to their Seton Hall earth over the past few weeks.
Yeah. So you never know. It's on the road. Things can happen. But. You just, I think if we can continue to play like we're playing now, and Peyton Siva's, jumper's back, which is great.
You hope it's back.
I hope.
You hope it's back. He played very good last night. I will say that.
He played very excellent. Keurig
very excellent. He played very excellent.
And I think I mentioned this, last night on Twitter. But Chris Smith coming off the bench is a better idea. He seems to know his role better there than he does starting.
I was talking to my roommate about that. He seemed comfortable.
He knows what to do. He comes out and his role is to shoot and to play defense. But when he starts, I think he puts so much pressure on him. He's just not a starter.
Now, what I think that what made Louisville play great this week was Coach Pitino lying, as usual, and saying Luke Hancock, the guy who hasn't even played a game, is the best player on the team.
Well, first of all, you're 2 weeks late. He said that 2 weeks ago.
Well, I have it actually on our website over the past. It's our show. So anything from last Thursday to this Thursday.
All right, it was 2 weeks ago. I was at the press conference.
It didn't come up till this last week.
Well, it's not my fault.
John, if you were at the press conference, you should have told me this.
I wasn't at the
Of course you didn't mention that part.
But anyway, yeah, I think it's one of those.
It's all exaggeration.
It's exaggeration, but what he was saying was, in practice, Luke Hancock can play certain type of players. If you need a Malik Waynes, okay, Luke, this is how Malik plays. You go play like him.
I wouldn't say that. And he is not a shooter like Malik Waynes.
Well, not maybe. But what I'm saying is the way that he plays defense or the way that he runs the offense. Okay, Luke can step in and do that. I think that's what Rick was saying, but at the same time, Rick says, no, he's the best player on the team.
Yeah, I like
he's the best basketball player
on the team. That's Rick Pitino. I'm sure Cameron Mills knows all about that, the exaggerations. But moving on to the other aspect of the things, Kentucky, they had 2 wins as well. Beat Alabama 77-71 and then beat Georgia 57-44. One good road win against Georgia. They're not the greatest team either. Alabama is a good, talented team. They have some talented players. They're kind of struggling though. But regardless, road win's a road win. I don't care who you're playing really. Like you said against, y'all beat Pitt against Pitt. They're 8 straight losses in a row. Who cares? Y'all beat Pitt.
Right now, a W's a W.
WW's on the road.
Trying to go into conference tournament and then to to the tournament.
To save you.
A W's a W.
Exactly.
You play a lot of games in a row, you're going to have rough games. Like Alabama came out and played their best game.
They were ready.
And so
they were ready.
You know,
they struggled last night.
The fact that Kentucky won that game was actually kind of, I mean, Alabama played their best game that they could play.
Jones played well. He had 15 and 6. They had 6 players actually scoring double figures, which is the first time since, I believe, 2005.
Yeah,
and their coach is impressive.
Year,
Anthony Grant is very impressive.
That's
the guy, if I was Louisville, if it ever happens, which it will happen here soon.
Sooner or later.
You know, why not Anthony Grant?
Nobody lives forever.
Yeah, nobody coaches forever. Joe Pa tried. We'll get to that in a second. Danielle, since you're all bored alone, Darius Miller came out extremely. You didn't even know when I got to stop it. You didn't even see the beginning of the Georgia game.
I did see it.
Did you?
I was multitasking, but I
saw it. Matt,
I was multitasking. He was killing it. And by the way, the parts that I saw was when he started really killing it.
5 for 5. Came out 5 for 5. 3 for 3 threes.
He was looking like the Darius that we all want to see.
Darius has not been Disaperius this year. He is Darius Miller.
Oh,
no, don't call him. If you call him Disaperius, you're not coming back.
I'm not calling him that specifically. I'm just saying he has his moments.
He's averaging 10 points.
He's building it up to be more clutch in the conference tournament.
That's all that matters.
In the NCAA tournament, and then
just like last year, carrying over from the SEC tournament. I believe he's
agreed.
Exactly. You know, It's good when you're senior. You're true, and I will say Cameron Mills was wrong. Eloy, our favorite, is a senior.
Eloy's our favorite.
He's fan favorite. Eloy, but
news to me.
Matt, he's gotta be your favorite.
I love Eloy, but I mean,
I don't think Matt has said a single word in about 4 shows.
Let me turn my mic up here. That's because my mic hasn't been on, and it's too much work for me to reach over, turn it on, turn it up. To answer a question to answer a question as quick as I need to. That's the thing.
We can wait a second. The listeners want to hear.
We don't have the most high quality equipment.
I don't know. The Behringer's pretty.
Yes,
sweet.
we do. Don't play.
Yes. Good wins. Both teams, both fan bases are happy this week. Good vibes around Bluegrass. It's always good. Kentucky women, they continue to win. They're undefeated in the SEC, 7-0. I think they're playing right now. Actually, I'm not for sure who, but they
always are when we're on the show.
Yeah, they beat Georgia and Florida both on the road. They're 18-2. They're number 6. Bria Goss is SEC Freshman of the Week last week. Congrats to her. So check them out. They're moving on. Maybe UK could just sweep the basketball championships. Pull UConn of 2000, whenever it was, 5, 6, not 5. That was North Carolina. 7 maybe, whatever it was. Let's just sweep them both. Danielle, do you see the jerseys we're going to wear against Tennessee on the 31st?
The pewter jerseys?
The pewter, platinum,
not platinum,
silver, whatever you want to call them.
I mean, honestly, they're not. The first picture I saw wasn't very close up, and I was like, this is completely ridiculous. Whatever.
Why?
I don't think it's that great. No, I mean, I don't think they're bad. I just don't think they're great.
It's a one-game thing.
I wish that they were shinier, and that,
Now, if you remember when we played Michigan State,
I like things.
Did you like the Michigan State jerseys when we played them when we wore silver back in 2005?
Back in 2005?
You don't remember, do you?
You
don't remember. Those were legit silver.
That was a long time ago.
We lost in a blowout. Let's hope the silver's not a curse.
So is that why you think that?
No, I think it's I don't care about this.
I think they're kind of. I'll be honest. I think they're pretty cool.
I think they're cool
for
all the teams.
Honestly,
I saw North Carolina.
When I saw the close-up of them, I really liked them.
I didn't like. What's the yellow? Somebody.
I didn't. I was trying to. I couldn't.
I think it was the girls' basketball. One of the girls.
I think it was.
But yeah, I didn't.
I think they're cool. They're Nike Elite. Uniforms.
They
just gonna be a one-game thing.
I wouldn't call them platinum.
I wouldn't either.
Because they're not platinum, trust me.
They look cool in that picture right there. Like on the players, they didn't look that good. But
Ramon Harris, is that Ramon Harris? Number 5?
Number 5.
Oh, yeah, it is. I wish Ramon was here. He's doing good things overseas, as is a bunch of Louisville players. A bunch of UK players overseas. Yeah. Gerald Fitch, Patrick Barks. You got
Larry O'Bannon,
All-Star game for his league.
Yeah, in Argentina, I think.
Yeah. We do have a few moments left. Joe Paterno passed away on Tuesday.
Game over. Yeah.
Or was it Monday?
Monday.
We don't know.
It was Sunday.
It was one of those days.
Saturday night.
Saturday or Sunday.
Whatever day it was, he passed away.
I posted on Saturday that he did like everybody else did. We quickly took it off.
Yep.
I apologize to your family if I offended you by posting that. I was off by about 10 hours. I apologize.
December 21st, 1926 till this year. He's got some, obviously, the past 9 weeks or so, 10 weeks.
I think in time that he'll be remembered as.
I think he's already remembered as Joe Pa.
it's unfortunate what happened. Yes, he should have said something.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, no other coach is going to coach at a team like that. And no one's going to do that again.
Nobody. We hope not. He is the winningest coach of all time.
If Charlie Strong wants to stay here that long, but I just don't see that.
What are we listening to?
We've got to make it about Charlie Strong.
Joe Paul Legacy. It's courtesy of ESPN, I do believe. I think that's one of those guys. Quick little side notes. Jorge Posada retired. Josh Harrelson's out 6 weeks. As we just mentioned, Larry O'Bannon made the Argentinian All-Star game.
Yeah.
Good.
I feel bad for Josh Harrelson. He was having a great rookie year.
He'll be fine. George will be fine. Don't worry about George. He's a healer. Murray State's still undefeated, number 9 in the nation. This is their highest ranking. Their best start ever.
They should be ahead of Duke.
They should be ahead of Duke. They have the big game coming up here shortly against St. Mary's. Out at St. Mary's, that will be their test. If they get through that, they're going to go undefeated until the NCAA tournament. Peyton Siva saved his dad's life.
That's a great video.
It's a great video. Get on the website. No, really. Get on the website, KentuckySports.co. Check out the Louisville blog and go find it. A picture of him and his dad. It's a great story. It was on, I believe it was on ESPN during game day.
It was on CBS.
CBS, that's right. It was on CBS. It's good stuff. Check that out. DeMarcus Smith. He was a fun recruit for Louisville last year.
The drama's finally over. I wish that he played at Seneca High School. He's a local kid. You wish him the best. I hope he gets better people around him than what he had making his. But I think WKU could definitely. He'll be good there.
They're going to be good here in a few years. They've got a lot of actually good talent, as their basketball team does as well. So watch out for them. Being a newer Division I A team, and then we got the Super Bowl coming up in about a week or so.
Giants.
I'm not excited about it. I really wanted the 49ers to be in there. That would have been awesome.
I want 49ers, Ravens, Harbaugh v. Harbaugh is what I want.
I didn't need the Harbaugh Bowl. I just needed the 49ers in there. Who do you think's going to win?
I say Giants. Only because of Tom Brady. I'm just not a Tom
I'm going to go ahead and say Patriots because Giants got them. Giants got them last year. Tom Brady's not going to allow that to happen again, in my opinion.
But I kind of don't care because I didn't care when it happened.
I think Eli's having his best season, though.
He is.
His brother's not behind him, in the shadows.
He might not even be at Indianapolis anymore. Who knows what's going on up in Indy? They got some sketchy stuff. Last thing, Kentucky, they have 2 games this week. As we said, Louisville plays Seton Hall on the 28th, 8 p.m. WHAS. Kentucky plays on the 28th as well at LSU, 4 p.m. on the SEC network. Then they will host Tennessee, where they'll wear those awesome platinum silver pewter jerseys on the 31st on ESPN at 7 p.m. It's been a fun show. We'd like to thank Cameron Mills for coming on.
Once again, his website is cmm21.com.
CameronMillsMinistry.com.
Yeah, and then next week we have Mike Hughes from InsideTheVille.com. If you're a Louisville fan, you know who that is. If you're a Kentucky fan,
you still know who it is because we love sports.
Yeah.
And Lady Gaga, Danielle Chilton.
See, this is
She's my spirit
why
animal.
she sits
This is a
alone.
good show to go out on, Danielle, not to chill in. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. Thanks, Danielle, the Breakdown Lounge. Thanks, John. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you next Thursday with Mike Hughes. You all have a great week.